You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the December 10th, 2024 meeting of the Michigan City Waterworks Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Let's call this meeting of the Water Board to order. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Approval of the minutes from the meeting of November 26th.
I make a motion that the minutes from the meeting on November 26th
I'll second it.
Be approved.
be approved.
Okay.
Yes, submitted.
Sorry.
There's a motion and second that the minutes from the meeting of November 26th be approved. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Purchase order.
Before you have a list of 7 purchase orders. The first purchase order is to Midwest Meter. This is for 5/8 meters with transponders for stock for $29,735. The next purchase order is to Midwest Meter. This is transponders for stock for $55,185.60. And those can be used on multiple sizes of meter, so that's why you set them on the shelf. The next item is number 3 is to USA Blue Book. This is for curved box keys and a valve key for $616.78. The next one is to USA Blue Book. This is for lab supplies and chemicals for $2,727.76. The fifth one is to McCann. This is repairs to our number 2 case backhoe. This is confirming only that it had a hydraulic leak and an electrical problem, and so they came out to repair it and got it fixed for us and back on the road for us for $1,384.83. Number 6 was to Leaps for copper for Pear Street service manifold. A house was installed in between the 2 streets, and Pear Street doesn't go all the way through, and so there's no main there, so we're running a long piece because there's no reason to put any kind of main loop or anything like that in. So the service manifold will get rid of a couple of galvanized lines that are in there as well. And this is for $13,360.30. And the next purchase order is to Woodruff. This is for the Michigan City Annex water main extension project, the one that we already approved the materials on to Ferguson at the last meeting. The bids that came in at $648,987.88 from Woodruff. They were the lowest bidder. The other 3 bidders, actually one of the other 3, the next bidder up was actually still within the budget or the estimate that we have for the project. So this purchase order will be the, when we provide the information with this purchase order, that'll be the release to the contractor, letting them know that they've been awarded the project. Between the water main, just so you're aware, the budget on that, or the estimate, the revised estimate from the engineers before we got bids in was $1.3 million for materials and construction. Between the materials bid and the construction bid both being significantly under what we thought they were going to be, this project's only going to be just over $1 million. So almost $300,000 below, about 22%. That's really good. So that's it for the purchase orders.
Yeah, this is coming from ARPA money.
Yeah, we aren't actually paying this $648 out. The invoices will come to us. We're going to review them, process them, and then send them to the city controller, and the controller's office will handle making payments to the contractor.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the list of purchase orders dated 12/10/24, the amount of $751,998.15.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and second that we accept the purchase orders dated December 10th. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Claims.
Motion to approve the list of claims dated December 10th, 2024.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and second that we approve the claims dated December 10th. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Bad debt list.
Before you have our bad debt list, in the total of $1,395.77. We did have one account that had a leftover balance of $407, and then a couple other accounts that were over $200, but overall, not too bad. And of course, this is just for bookkeeping purposes, so.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the bad debt list for December 10th, 2024,
For bookkeeping purposes only.
for bookkeeping purposes only.
Second.
There's a motion and second that we approve the bad debt list dated December 10th, 2024 for bookkeeping purposes only. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right.
At this point, I'd like to request that we change the order and move the discussion of the 2025 salaries first,
Okay.
ahead of the discussion of the business plan.
All right.
We have to vote on that, or is that just,
No,
I
that's
don't
it.
think so. Okay. All right. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes, oh
All
yeah.
right, good. Before you, I sent this out. I know it's kind of a last minute send out, but going through, went through all of the salaries. We did have our executive session to discuss employee performance as the, where I have to base my salary decisions on. That my salary recommendations, I guess I should say.
Do you see who that is?
That cleaning person?
That he was appeased tonight. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna be here until about 7.
So when?
About 7.
Okay.
That's somebody filling in for our regular cleaning person.
Okay.
So as I usually do, I did take a look at U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index, basically from October 23 through October 24. And then also the Social Security COLA, because those are good, the cost of living adjustment, because those are good indicators of where officials believe prices are going to go. And then, right now, they said that the consumer price index was at 2.6%, but COLA was 2.5. So that averages to about 2.55. Now, one of the things I do have to take into account is that under our union contract, we did agree to annual increase for the union at 4% through the life of the contract. And I think that it would be only right to use that as our basis for where we want to be with the non-union employees as well. And so, before you have a list of all the positions, their 2024 wages and the percentage increase and their 2025 wages as set as an hourly point. And the board be approving the hourly wages, and then that's so for the state board of accounts purposes, we approve it as hourly wages even if it's a salary employee. The average of all of the increases came out to 4.27%. The total increase for the payroll line is about $43,000, which comes out to about 4.1% increase. In the business plan, there is a request for an additional role, which we'll talk about when we get to the business plan. It's not part of the salary discussion, but I do have a budget number for that. And when I add that budget number in, the total payroll increase is about 12.7%. So that's something we'll talk about when we get to the business plan. So basically, just with the recommendation that I have is the board would approve these new 2025 salaries. And then including the, I guess the item that was discussed during the executive session.
In agreement?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
the recommendation.
Okay.
Okay, so
So you want to make a motion?
Yep.
I'll make a motion that the board approves salary increases for the non-union employees
As discussed.
As discussed. in the executive session.
Second.
There's a motion.
Get 2 seconds.
There's a motion in a couple of seconds that we approve the salary increases as discussed in the executive session. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
thank you very much. It's very much appreciated, and I know that the employees will greatly appreciate it as well. Thank you.
All right, business plan.
Sent this out, again, a little behind on it, and I know there's a lot of information. So I'd like to kind of hit the executive summary. I'll jump past the executive summary. Overall, we know we have quite a bit of development coming our direction. We also have we're going to be looking at our rates, and when we do that, we of course have to have a capital plan set out. So I'll start off with the 5-year capital improvement replacement program. That's on the appendix towards the back of your towards the back of the book I gave you. So basically, the items that are highlighted are items that were identified in our capital improvement plan, the long-term plan that Westler worked on with us, and we approved it last at the early part of 2024. Some items got moved back a little bit because we, of course, haven't filed any kind of adjustment. Some of these items are going to require us to get some sort of bonding to do because it's a lot of capital outlay, but these are things that we looked at from a perspective of criticality. Is it something that's potentially going to fail soon? Is it something that is going to make a significant improvement to our operations in the near future? Is it something that maybe we even need to do as soon as possible because we probably should have got into it a little bit already? And so those items are highlighted. Right now, we show a capital outlay for the year 2025 of about $6 million. Now, of course, not all of that is going to happen as drawn out. But I just had to go with some of the numbers that, that the engineers had identified and estimated. One of the big things that I think we need to start attacking, we made a purchase for a bunch of brass fittings so we could start attacking the lead, well, I don't want to call it lead service line, it's a lead connector. This past October, the EPA did finally put out a new rule, and in that they included us getting an inventory of our connectors. What that is, it's called a gooseneck. It's a piece that goes from the main to the galvanized pipe, and then the rest of it may be galvanized or copper going in. We don't have many that are tied to copper. Anytime we put copper in, we went all the way to the main. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of these. We have in the neighborhood of 1,700. We've been whittling away at them little by little each year. But in the year 2027, we're going to have a whole lot of additional requirements due to the new EPA rules. So we went ahead and placed the brass order, a significant brass order that could get us through several months of activity. And that stuff has started to come in. And so basically the thing that I would, that basically after the first of the year, I'd like to get the additional personnel that we would need to have. And those people would essentially be almost 100% capital. They're not on our operating budget, changing out these services. At this point in time, we have an estimate of about 1.35 million on that. I don't know that that's actually what we'd end up spending. It's a number based on, I took some other factors into account, and we may be able to reduce that. So like I said, we may stretch it out a little bit into 27 then, since we know 27's late 27 is kind of an important deadline for us. Because if we can get rid of all of these by then, that eliminates a lot of administrative work on our end in the future. So, we have money that rolled forward for the rate case and study. We had like to put an alarm system in this building. We have some of our regular activity that we were planning to do, wash water valve actuators. We have an electrical panel that needs to be replaced at the filter building. Let's see here. We had some turbidity analyzers we replaced last year. We need to replace some more this year, and then we'll replace some more the next year, so that when they get to a point where they're old, they'll be, we won't have to replace them all in 1 year either. That will replace them little at a time. It's kind of like you only change one headlight out on your car at a time, so they both don't go out at the same time. Let's see, then, and all those turbidity analyzers are all pretty old, so they're getting to, they're getting past their useful life, so it's time to get rid of them. Titrator for the lab, a colorimeter for the lab. That's two devices we do some of our water quality testing on in the lab, and they're due for replacement. We've discovered some issues with our tank mixers, and it looks like we need to replace all 3 of them, so we have that in there for the capital plan. Replace the mower at our plant, and then gas heaters for the maintenance shop garage. The ones that we have are very old, and very inefficient and giving us some trouble, so it's time to get rid of them. And then, let's see here. Some electric heaters also need to be replaced at various locations. At our booster stations, we want to relocate and replace the influent meter at Beverly Shores Booster Station. We might actually have an option for something that could be done a lot less expensive than this 25, and I'm hoping we can do that. And at our distribution facility, looking at installing a camera system for security, fence and gate replacement, the fence along the alley and the fence along Fairfield Road, they're both in really bad shape, so we want to upgrade that and improve. Plus then we want to put a gate operator on there so that the gate can be kept closed throughout the day, and when the guys pull up to go in, they can just push a button and get in, as opposed to right now it's just left open. So we've had people pull in there, without anybody knowing they're there. So we want to take care of that. And then create office for supervisor. Basically, we have a space, but we need to add a wall. So that's what we're looking at there. Right now, we have 2 offices in the distribution building, and we'd like a third one so that supervisor can put stuff in there that needs to be in there and locked up
Okay.
on occasion. Let's see here. I have some money in here for annual water main replacement program. One of the things that we're looking at with regard to our rates is starting to take a proactive approach in attacking water main replacement. We have a lot of water mains that are well over 100 years old, and we have a lot of water mains that are only 60 years old, but where those mains are is in corrosive soils. And so we've been having a lot of main break issues in those areas. The plan, if it's approved and we get the funding for it, the plan would be in the future to do about $3 million worth of main replacements a year. So I have some money in there for that, and we'll see how that goes. That would be later in the year. The I-94 rest area, they've been communications. They want to move forward with laying a main out that way. That's a pretty expensive proposition. So I'm going to work with the state on that to see what we can get done and try and keep us from eating too much cost in that as well. We have some money that we're going to still have to spend from a project management and as-built aspect with regard to the US 20 annexation area. I should have a quote for that project management. We're also going to talk about under old business an agreement document because of ARPA requirements, and some of that engineering effort is going to be part of the ARPA requirements that we have to meet as well. Because the city is using ARPA funds to pay for that main extension. And then Southwind Drive, Kiefer Road to Westwind Drive, that's part of the project we sent, we have Westler designing for us right now, where we're going to eliminate that. We have 2 mains down Kiefer Road, and the one main is very corroded, and we end up having several main breaks on it. Very expensive main breaks, because the street restoration has cost us on average around $45,000 each time. So we definitely want to look at getting rid of that. Then in vehicles, we did manage to get 1 replacement crew vehicle this past year. We still have it, but it is out of service, the old one, because they only wanted to give us $1,000 in trade for it. So I'm going to see if we can do something to bundle a couple of them together for this next vehicle that we get. One of the supervisor distribution pickups was actually supposed to be replaced this past year. I held off on it because it's in relatively good condition. I've got it in next year's plan. If it continues to be in as good condition as it seems to be, we might even go a little longer with it. And I've got one for the meter reading. That particular truck has a lot of miles on it because they're out reading throughout every month. So they put a lot of miles on driving around doing that. And then I have an administration superintendent SUV. If the board allows, if we do go forward with that additional position that I was talking about, the vehicle that I currently use would go to that position and would be used by that person. Then we need to replace one of our tow-behind air compressors at distribution. We have one that's getting a little rough. It's time to move on from it. We have a skid loader at the filter plant, so we're looking at a low lift trailer that we could put that in so we can take that skid loader out to different jobs. And then a dump trailer for the distribution group. Instead of buying a big dump truck, we get a dump trailer and we can use it for a variety of things. We had an old trailer that we can't use anymore that we've decommissioned, and so this would take its place. And that's what I have in the capital plan. From business operating plan perspective, we do identify a small increase on the revenues. We found that we were not processing our replacing meters in the proper, in a best practice manner. And once we changed our practice to what matches up with best operating practices across the industry, we started to see an uptick on revenue because we were losing some revenue from meters that didn't really measure up. So we see a little uptick on that. Plus, of course, we're going to have continued growth and new customers coming in. Overall, we did put some increases in for source supply and pumping, for water treatment. A lot of it's inflationary increases. And then if you go to, so overall it shows us with a net income or gross income of $511,000 for the year. But then you take away the depreciation expense, which is just a bookkeeping process. It looks like we show a net income of negative $977,000, but in all reality, we're still on the positive side for revenues. If you go to the next page of the operating expense forecast, we are showing the increase of wages. We're looking at trying to hold a capitalization rate of about 5.5% for the year. And we did have an increase in our health insurance. Not a huge increase. Last year we had no increase at all. This year our increase was only 9.25%, which sounds like a lot, but when you compare it to what some other companies have had to do with their health insurance, 9.25% is not too bad, especially since we had nothing last year. Our purchase power, we know that there's, I believe there's currently a case going in front of, NIPSCO's got a case going on their books for an increase. So if they get their increase, of course, it's going to increase ours. Chemicals, we just show inflationary increase. Materials and supplies, that also shows just an inflationary increase. Contracted services, that we had a bit more of that this past year than we had in previous years. So we're going to watch that carefully and try to keep that from increasing too much more than what we've shown here. Our transportation expense has a slight increase for inflationary purposes. Insurance shows a slight increase for inflationary purposes. I haven't gotten the official numbers yet from GIS, but I did have a conversation with the manager there, or the president, I guess, and he said that it was not, there might be a small increase, but not significant. We actually may have had a decrease on our workers' comp again this year, so I'm waiting to have that meeting. Let's see, our water and sanitation, we put a bump up on that, anticipating changes in rates for us and possibly even sanitary district. And then miscellaneous, we just put an inflationary number on, and then the payment in lieu of taxes, it shows the $10,000, in addition to our regular payment in lieu of taxes, it also shows the additional $10,000 that is being used by the city for the mayoral salary, and then the $25,000 that we have been requested to provide towards the Director of Public Works position that they've recently added, that will be filled after the first of the year. And then, other than that, that's everything we had in those. The additional position that I mentioned, I'd like the board to contemplate adding in. Obviously, it wouldn't prevent the business plan from going forward if the board decided to not do it. There would have to be an actual vote on it after the first of the year. But one of the position I'd like to look at adding into the department is an actual licensed professional engineer position for the department to take on a lot of the development activities and some of these water main replacements that we've got. An example, for example, we had an agreement, the agreement with Westler, the amount of money that we're paying for that particular project. We may have been, if we had a person in-house that was, that could stamp documents like that, we could probably have paid the salary on that one project. So there's potential there for doing some water main work in-house and getting those things taken care of. Now, I'd take some other things off of my plate with regard to new projects and quoting these out and getting all that information pulled together. That's just something to consider. So at this point, then the decision would have to be made by the board as to either accept the business plan, or if you wish to table it until we have our next meeting at the end of the month on the 23rd, that can be done as well.
I'm fine with it.
That's fine.
Thank you.
I mean,
Anything else?
Yeah, I'd have to take it home and look at it. If you're good with it, we'll go with it.
I mean, if you guys want to take it home and look at it, and then we can come back on our next meeting and vote on it. And then it gives you time to ask me any additional questions going through it. I'm fine with that.
So,
That's what I prefer, but it's up to the board.
okay, and then, could we go ahead and give him the okay for that engineer position?
I would wait until we
Wait
have the
until-
plan, because if you guys look through it and you find something in there, I would say let's wait and look at that.
Okay.
The next meeting is set on the 23rd.
That'll be on the 23rd, so,
You feel good about that?
And remember, I won't be here on the 23rd.
okay.
I'll
Do you
go.
have any, if you have any questions when you're looking through it,
I'll call.
give me a call or shoot me an email if I'm.
Is it already if we allow him to look at it, to get and look at it?
Mhm.
How do you feel about that?
Motion to table.
There you go.
Alright.
Is that what you just said?
That's what I just said, a motion to table this
Okay,
business
so
plan for
motion
2025.
to table
Motion to table.
Till our next meeting?
Till our next meeting.
to 12/23. Okay,
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay.
There's a motion to table the business plan until December 23rd meeting. Any additional discussion? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, any old business?
Yeah, there's two items of old business. The first one, in your packets, there's an interagency agreement between the mayor and the Michigan City Department of Waterworks regarding the ARPA funds. This is basically a boilerplate document that goes through all the things that are required for ARPA. The city was made aware of this through Baker Tilly, and so this document's been written up. Basically, it's in addition to it references back to our original memorandum of understanding with the Board of Works, and this has just got all of the language and the requirements needed to ensure that the money is properly, what's the right word? Basically to make sure that the ARPA funds are properly obligated so that that's all done by the end of the year. I did have Barry take a look at this, and he reviewed it, and he didn't find any significant issues with regard to it. Like I said, it doesn't change how the process is going to work for us, other than one piece is that I'll have to be providing quarterly reports to the mayor so that can be turned in. The first report would be in January, the next one would be in April, and my guess is by then the project might even be close to finished by the time we get through the second quarterly report. But it's all part of the requirements for ARPA. So I guess basically we just need to agree to sign this, and then that would be signed by Candace, the president of the board.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Any of you good with it?
Yes.
All of you? Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the interagency agreement between the mayor and the Michigan City Department of Waterworks regarding ARPA funds.
As presented, yes.
Sure.
Second it.
Thank you.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the interagency agreement between the mayor and the Michigan City Department of Waterworks regarding the ARPA funds. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The only other piece of old business I have is a reminder that our next meeting will be December 23rd instead of December 24th. So it'll be on Monday night at 7 p.m.
All right. Any new business?
No.
Any public comment? Any director's comment?
Yes, I'm gonna make a motion that the board accept our previous discussion about a one-time bonus for Chris. The amount was discussed.
Oh, that we included that in the...
Yes,
Yes.
we do.
We already had that included in the...
Okay, that's more of an official motion to make it good.
Well, it was part of the motion for the salaries.
Okay, that's good.
So you'll withdraw your
I'll
motion?
withdraw then.
Oh,
Yeah, it's okay.
Any other director comment? Okay, would anybody like to move to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, sorry. She said.
Motion said we adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.